Hello, hello, and welcome to 2024. Happy New Year, everyone. My goodness, I can't believe we're already here. I don't know about you, but 2023 went way too quickly for me. I hope this year doesn't go quite so fast. I would love for it to be a little bit slower and not so jam-packed with things, but man, I hope you had a wonderful holiday season. I hope you had some great downtime, some rest, some relaxation, whatever it is that makes you happy and thrive. I hope that you were able to enjoy that and really take some time off and time away from chaos to be in the moment and just be still and see what the holidays brought to you with your loved ones and your family and your friends. So here we are, a brand new year. We have 365 days and 12 months ahead of us. We have new adventures. We have new chapters in this story. Oh my goodness. There's going to be so much to come this year that we don't know anything about yet, but I'm so excited to see what lies ahead. And even if there's not so great things that are in store for us this year, we are going to get through them. We're going to learn all sorts of tips and tricks and tools on how we use those situations to make us stronger and make us more resilient, to get us better. So when we come out of it, we are better and stronger on the other side of things. So welcome. I am always so thankful that you are here with me, whether you're listening at home, at work, or on the go. I am so very grateful that you're choosing to spend a few minutes of your time with me. So last year we had a theme of having a happy year and not just a happy new year, like the state that we're in right now, but those small things that we could do every day that would help make those days a little happier, which leads to happier weeks, happier months, and by the end of 2023, to reflect back and say, wow, I actually did have a happy year. I hope that was the case for you. And if not, let's try again this year. No reason to only make that a one-time thing. So let's continue that focus for having a happy year all the way through 2024. But I also want to make sure that we're focusing on some other things. And one of those things for this year is going to be how we can be a light. How do you let your goodness and your kindness and your light shine for others, for yourself, whatever the situation might be? We know that everything's not going to be sunshine and rainbows and always peaks for us. You can't have peaks without the valleys, right? So we're going to go through some times and others will go through those times. But if you can just help with letting your light shine through that, that gives hope. It helps guide others in the way of, oh, she can do it, I can too, or he can do it and I can too. And they can turn to you maybe for a little bit of help, or maybe they don't. And maybe it's just your smile one day that helps somebody get through their day. So we have a big year ahead of us of talking through all sorts of exciting things. But for now, for January, our big focus will be how to be a light. And that's going to be my challenge to you over the next 30 days, is doing something kind, showing some generosity, having some grace towards others, and just helping someone else have a better day. And making a difference. And you may not even know that you're making a difference. And that's not why we do it. We don't do it for that gratification. We don't do it to receive, praise for being kind to someone. You do it because it's the right thing to do. And man, it makes us feel good too when we do good things for others. So as I was preparing for this, I actually came across a blog, from 2020, actually. Her blog name, well, it's Basics by Becca. And she wrote this article and it was right on par with everything I wanted to talk about and where I want us to take this year. So I'm going to read that article to you. So get your pen and paper out. Of course, if you're driving, don't do this right now. Come back to it, do it later. But take some notes because I'm going to have a challenge for you at the end when I'm done. Her article is called 10 Selfless Ways to Let Your Light Shine. And man, you can make such an impact by that. Again, like I said, you can give hope to someone. You can just help them see that there's a different way. There's a different way to look at things. There's a different way to work through things. And your light on someone else's path just helps guide them in a better direction, in a happier direction. So she says what it means to let your light shine. For starters, it means being a generous and selfless person. It means you intentionally go out of your way to help others, even without the cost of expecting something in return. Being there to help others makes you happy, and it's what makes you the light to others. Your loved ones can rely on you to be there for them, especially on their darkest days. And even in those moments, you can bring such a tiny spark. When they happen to lose hope, you can be that spark for them. By letting your light shine, you help others fight their battles, even without knowing it. Man, isn't that great? That just by smiling at someone, you literally could have just completely changed the trajectory of their day and turned it all around for them. And you don't know that. You have no idea what someone is battling, just like no one else knows what you might be battling. But if you just have a little bit of hope and faith and kindness and goodness and grace, you can be that light to yourself and you can be that light to others. So Becca's 10 selfless ways to let your light shine. Number 1, don't forget to smile. There's something to be said about someone who constantly smiles, as if smiling is their way of sharing their light with the world. Your smile is one of the most genuine and selfless things you can share with others without even trying. You never know how much you can brighten someone's day with such a simple act. Number 2, be there for a friend. Being there for someone during their darkest days is something that they will never forget. By being there for a friend, you're sharing your light and hope with them in a moment where they are feeling hopeless and devastated. They say that being there for someone in their darkest days makes a stronger impact than being there on someone's best days. And that's very accurate. Think about that. Have you ever had someone that maybe you were going through a tough time and someone showed up and helped you through that? I bet you remember that person and how that made you feel and how it helped you work through something more so than, say, maybe on your birthday, on a super happy day when you probably had numerous people reaching out. And yes, those are great. And you definitely want those too. But there's something about when someone's there in your darkest days and how that makes you feel. All right, number 3, give genuine compliments. Whether or not someone's love language is words of affirmation, giving compliments is such a selfless act. Words have so much power, and more so than you realize. It's that you can either make or break someone's day. By giving compliments, you're sharing kindness and compassion in your own way. Now, we did talk about the love languages last year, so go back and find that if you need a refresher. But it's so true. You know how that feels. If someone says something nice, even if it's a general, wow, I really like your shirt today. Oh, thank you. It just brightens you a little bit. You know how hurtful words can be, but man, they can also be amazingly helpful. And that's where we could focus. Number 4, be friendly. Similar to your smile, friendliness goes a long way. This means going out of your way to talk to strangers, helping them, or just meeting new people. You'd be surprised by the kind of impact you have on even those folks you barely know. People with a certain light within them have it in their nature to light people's paths, even if those are strangers to them. Number 5, use your passion. What you love impacts how you become the light to others. For instance, if you're a writer, one of the ways to shine your light is through the art of your words and using that to make people feel something. You can always use your passion to make a change in the world, no matter what that change may be. You have so much more power than you probably give yourself credit for. All right, number 6. Share your optimism and gratitude. We live in a world where it's little natural to dwell in negativity. When you freely show a positive outlook and a different perspective to others, you'll naturally be the light that they need in their lives. Be the kind of person in a world that easily focuses on negativity, where you choose to focus on optimism and gratitude. Be the kind of person who chooses to see the silver lining in a difficult circumstance. There is so much power there. You have so many choices. We've talked about that almost every episode last year. We talked about that. We absolutely don't control what happens to us, but we certainly control our choices and our reactions to those situations. So be the one who sees the positive and has that hope and optimism that it's going to get better, because it absolutely will. God does not give you anything that he won't be able to get you through, and he absolutely will not fail you. All right, number 7, give to charity. One of the most selfless acts you can do is to give to charity and those who need things more than you do. Choose things you don't need any longer. Maybe it's old clothes, and give those away to charity. You don't know how much of a big deal this could be for those in need, and you'll be acting as their light in times of need. Even if they don't know it's you, you still are a light to someone else. There are so many people who desperately need a selfless heart in such a self-absorbed world, and even a simple act of generosity can change their world for the better. And when you donate, even if it's clothes, say to a women's shelter, you're helping someone else feel more confident, get back on their feet, and go tackle another day. And that's a very big deal. All right, number 8, give what you can. Giving not out of compulsion, but out of sincerity and generosity is the best thing you can do for others. It doesn't have to be a grand gesture, as you'll be surprised how others appreciate even the smallest things, like we said, with compliments or friendships or a smile or just laughter. Being that light to others is not always about material things, but it's also about intangible things that you can never buy with money. Number 9, listen with intent. This is such a selfless act that people rarely do nowadays. We're so focused on listening to respond that we never listen for the sake of actually listening and processing what the other person has to say. Listening is considered a selfless act in itself, as the best thing you can do to make someone feel better is just to hear them for what it is that they want to communicate. By listening to someone's problems, you listen to how much in pain they are, and you can just be that ear, and you can empathize, and you can give them that outlet that they need. You don't have to offer advice. You certainly don't have to offer your own story. They might want that. They might ask for that. But don't go in with the intent of that. Just listen and let them talk and let them communicate. Listen to that message and be a solid shoulder for someone. Last but not least, number 10 is empathize with others. There is a difference between empathy and sympathy. Empathy means putting yourself in someone's shoes. Sympathy is just understanding what someone, a situation, and just having sympathy for what they're going through. But empathy means you've actually walking it with them, and you've been there and you've done it and you truly understand it. Empathy and selflessness are deeply intertwined if you take a moment and think about it. When you empathize with others, you become light as you make them feel understood. Through empathizing, you're reminding them that they're not alone in their pain or whatever feeling it is that they're having at that moment. So her final thoughts here say she was hopeful that this sheds some insight on ways that you can shine your light. Being the light to others is the best thing you can do, as it truly reflects your heart and soul. When you have a pure and kind soul, it's your nature to give others the hope and love they deserve. Through your heart, you can show others to be someone who is selfless to a point of not expecting anything in return. In fact, your radiance and light is the very reason why others are drawn to you. So, That's my challenge to you for the next 30 days. Take one of those, take all of those. Maybe there's something different that you can do too that we didn't talk about in her article, but just take the next 30 days and take one of those actions to do for somebody else. And maybe that somebody else might end up being yourself, and that's okay too. You can be your own light. Just reflect and figure out, what do I need to do? How do I get through something? How do I help someone else through something? And maybe you don't know anyone going through a struggle in the next 30 days, and that's fantastic. So then just wear a smile on your face. Don't be so quick to, get road rage or get upset when someone cuts you off in traffic, or if someone else has a long grocery order in front of you and you have to wait in line a little longer to check out at the store. Just small gestures can mean so much. And remember, your words have so much power. And people absolutely remember things you say to them, but they remember more how you made them feel. And you want to walk away and let others feel good just like you want to feel good. So that is my episode today. I thank you so much for joining me. And I wish you nothing but blessings and goodness to come this year. And until I see you next time, take care and may God bless.